Hey y'all, it's Stacy. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're making one of those recipes that is just a family treasure for us. This is my grandmother's recipe for icebox fruitcake. Now, I know some of you heard fruitcake and you automatically shut down. Even people who dislike fruitcake like this because it's nothing like what you're thinking. This super simple, no-bake recipe is just a classic for us, and it's just not the holidays without it. To start, I've got a 14.4 ounce box of graham crackers. I've put them in a zip top bag here. We're gonna crush these. Now, you can throw these in the food processor and buzz them till they're nice and crushed up, or let's say you got some holiday frustration. You can just use a rolling pin and take it out. I actually prefer this method because I don't love them pulverized until they're all like a powder. I like to have a few chunks of graham crackers in this, so choosing this method gives me a texture that I like better. You can see I'm leaving the end of my bag open here, just so when I crush these, the bag doesn't explode open. And I'm just pressing down and crushing these crackers. All right, you can see these are nice and crushed up. I've got a large bowl here. Just gonna pop these right in our bowl. And move on to our other ingredients. I've got 1 cup of flaked sweetened coconut. Might also be labeled shredded coconut. I've got a cup of raisins. Now, don't tell my grandmother, but I don't like raisins. It's just one of the few things that I just really dislike. So oftentimes, if I'm just making this for myself or my family, I'll swap the raisins for like a sweetened dried cranberry. I've got a cup of pecans that are chopped. Now, I did toast these 350, 5 to 8 minutes. It just kind of helps intensify that flavor. I've got 1.5 cups of mini marshmallows. I've got a 10-ounce jar of cherries. Now what I did is I drained these cherries, but I reserved that juice because we're gonna need some of that moisture. And then I just coarsely chopped these. Oftentimes, because of the dye that's in these can kind of turn a little pink. So sometimes, and I did that today, I gave these a quick rinse just to remove some of that extra cherry juice so that everything doesn't turn pink. And then my favorite ingredient, actually one of my favorite ingredients, sweetened condensed milk. This is a 14-ounce can. And then we're just gonna mix this together. This process takes a little while because that sweetened condensed milk is pretty thick, and it's gonna take some turning here to get it all combined. And that's also where our reserved cherry juice comes in. We're gonna add just a little bit of that to moisten those crumbs a little bit more, just to kind of get this mixture to stick together. It's a delicate balance between adding enough moisture and then not adding too much so that we end up with pink icebox fruitcake rather than the nice color that it is now. I'm just kind of pressing some of this. You can see where some of that sweetened condensed milk stuck together. Just kind of smashing that just so that it combines a little more easily. Now, once this is all combined, you can see that most of the crumbs are moistened, but it's not quite enough liquid to hold everything together. So we're gonna use that reserved cherry juice here. Typically, I add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of this, but it's one of those things where you just have to add it a little at a time. I'm gonna start with 2 because I think that's about where we need to be. Just drizzle that right over the top and then just stir it again to get everything nice and moistened. All right, see, you can see here where this is nice and moistened. You can see where all those crumbs are coated and it didn't turn it pink, so that was the right amount. I've got a 9 by 13-inch baking dish here that I'm gonna spray with just a little non-stick cooking spray, just to make it a little bit easier to get out. And then we're just gonna spoon this mixture right into our dish here. All right, I'm just gonna kind of level this out with my spoon here just a little bit. A silicone spatula helps here. And then we're gonna need to press this flat. So I like to do it with my hands. You can spray them with a little non-stick cooking spray just to keep them from being sticky, but you're just gonna get in here and just kind of press this flat and even as possible. Like I said, you can see where it's getting a little sticky, so I'm just gonna spray my hands just a little bit. That just helps us get all this pressed down and it not stuck to our fingers. All right, so this is gonna go in the fridge, 3 to 4 hours minimum, but you're gonna store it in the fridge too. It's called Icebox Fruitcake, so it's no bake. And in the fridge, it's gonna firm up nicely so that you can slice it and serve it. You can slice it into whatever size you like. And folks, again, it's like the anti-fruitcake fruitcake. It's super easy, crazy delicious. And you can find the recipe by heading over to the website, southernbite.com, and just search for Icebox Fruitcake. Y'all enjoy.